So it looks like Capcom is down to have third-party guest characters in their mainline series Street Fighter game. Is now the time for Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter to finally cross over? In this video, let's talk about the different scenarios where that can happen. The first scenario is a Mortal Kombat character being added in Street Fighter 6. It's only Season 2, and Capcom is already adding SNK characters. Maybe Capcom has more surprises in the next seasons. It will most likely be a Tekken rep like Kazuya, since Street Fighter and Tekken already have a relationship, just like Capcom and SNK does. Street Fighter 6 even had a collab with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for some reason. Yo, I just thought of something. What if Scorpion and Sub-Zero is just a costume for your character? Like they did with TMNT. Don't do that, Capcom. Please. That would be so disrespectful. If Scorpion and Sub-Zero were to be added in Street Fighter 6, you gotta remember, they won't be as violent like they are in Mortal Kombat. They will play like how they are in Injustice. You know, no crazy violent moves, no fatalities. I know some MK fans wouldn't like that, but I'll be okay with it. I think Capcom can do a nice job with the camera angles and the lighting, so Scorpion and Sub-Zero can be violent, but the game still have a T rating. I mean, some supers in SF6 look like they can be in Mortal Kombat. So what about the other way around? A Street Fighter character in the Mortal Kombat game? Well, that offer was already made back in Mortal Kombat 11 and Street Fighter 5 days, and Capcom said no. The reason was, some people at Capcom didn't think that Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter mix well together. In other words, they didn't want to do it because of the violence, which makes sense. That's a big line to cross if you're Capcom. You know, their Street Fighter characters don't really be doing all that. The only way I could see this happening now is that Ryu would have to be a cameo. Cameos in MK1 don't get hit by any violent moves. They just come in and do assists. Ryu would have to do a fatality and a brutality. So he would probably have to do a Shin Hadouken and they would just bench death. Or a Shoryuken someone's head off, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie though, Ryu not being a real fighter, it would kinda suck though. So I don't know, maybe they would have to have like 5 Street Fighter characters as cameo to make that better, because they'll probably get a lot of hate for that. So I don't know how to make that better. Let me know how you guys would feel about that in the comments. Okay, the next scenario I already passed, but I want to talk about it. How they could have crossed over in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Okay, I have a theory that the Fighters Pass was supposed to be all guest characters, but something happened, negotiations went bad, and they couldn't agree on anything. And the first party Nintendo characters on the Fighters Pass were just put in because they're quick and easy, they don't have to negotiate with anybody. And maybe one of those not so popular first party characters was supposed to be Scorpion and Sub-Zero. With Ryu, Ken, Terry, Kazuya, I feel like Sakurai wanted all the big, iconic, classic fighting game characters to all be in one game. But I don't know, either they just couldn't come to an agreement, or they're just really not messing with Mortal Kombat like that. Scorpion and Sub-Zero can even get an assist trophy or a Mii costume. Even the Doom guy got a Mii costume, and he's just as violent. Ed Boon did say this about MK in Smash. He would love to have Scorpion in Smash. He said that it would be a stamp of approval. Warner Brothers does own Mortal Kombat, so it would be their decision. Yeah, and Warner Brothers has been making bad moves in their games for greed. So I can kind of see if, you know, negotiations went bad because, you know, Warner Brothers wanted more money or something like that, because they have been doing things like that recently. Okay, before we get to my final thoughts, I just want to talk about the most unlikely scenario is that we get a Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat game. This is some crazy fan fiction that I don't think will ever happen. There will probably be a SNK versus Capcom, a Tekken Cross Street Fighter, another Tatsunoko versus Capcom before we get Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter. Yo, but if a game like this does happen, it will probably be Capcom the ones making it. Well, at least the gameplay, because they tend to be the ones that want to do that in their versus games, and they would probably not want to make it all violent, you know. And that'll be fine if the game plays like Street Fighter and the game is not rated M. I'll be fine with all that, only if NetherRealm gets to work on the story mode, all the dialogue, the cutscenes, and all the way the characters interact with each other. Well, at the end of the day, there could be many reasons why these two franchises never crossed over. Is it because of the violence?
maybe egos, maybe greed, maybe just the tone and atmosphere of the games don't match well together. Now that some game companies are getting out of that old school mindset, there is hope that Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter can finally cross over. So hopefully they can come to an agreement and make millions of fighting game fans' dreams finally come true. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Thanks for watching.